Welcome to this DAQS.io video about security. This movie is for explaining how the security for the DAQS.io service is working and what your role is in maintaining security. These are the topics that will be explained in this movie. To get the service to work, you need an account. We do not need much information from you other than an email address and a name for account verification and to make the service work for you. The minimum password requirements are set to have a fairly secure password according to standards. Please do use stronger passwords if your company policy requires. Notice that the website has a certificate and communication between our service and you are secured. You need admin rights on your BIM 360 Hub to add the DAQS.io app. The app can't do anything by itself. It needs to be instructed by a user of your company to do anything. The recommendation for security is that you have a limited number of people with the role of BIM manager on DAQS.io, because it's only them who can add projects. When a person with the BIM manager role has added a project to DAQS.io, it is recommended that other people are added to the project with the role of dashboard user. When a user is added to a project, then it is required to assign this user permissions on the project. The default is not authorized, which means you can't see or do anything. The DAQS.io BIM manager appoints a dashboard user with the permission of a project manager for a specific project. This way, this person with these permissions can take care of adding more people to the project with either engineer or project manager permission. It is important to understand that a person with the BIM manager role on DAQS.io cannot add a sensitive BIM 360 project to DAQS.io if this person does not have access right to the BIM 360 project. When you add a project from BIM 360 to DAQS.io, you copy the name of a project and the project GUID. No files are copied. The GUID is needed for assigning the scan results to the proper project. If you are a BIM manager on DAQS.io, it depends on your Autodesk BIM 360 account credentials, which projects you can add. If you do not have access to a project on BIM 360, you can't add it to DAQS.io. If you are a user on DAQS.io, you can't add projects either. You have to be a BIM manager and you need to have access to the BIM 360 project. When you authorize DAQS.io to read information from BIM 360, this is what happens. You are making use of Autodesk three-legged authentication. Your authorization is complete. There is an access token generated with a scope. The scope DAQS.io uses is data read. Your user credentials are stored as a hash in the DAQS.io database. A hash is designed to act as a one-way function, a mathematical operation that's easy to perform but very difficult to reverse. Like other forms of encryption, it turns readable data into scrambled cipher. But instead of allowing someone to decrypt that data with a specific key, as typical encryption functions do, hashes aren't designed to be decrypted. Instead, when you enter a password on a website, it simply performs the same hash again and then checks the results against the hash it has created on your password when you chose it, verifying the password's validity without having to store the sensitive password itself. Please let us explain how the system of the plugin works. It is not the plugin that takes the action. It is the user that instructs Autodesk Forge to copy the DAQS.io app from the user's BIM 360 hub and the designated Revit file to a temporary location on the Autodesk Forge servers. Then Revit is started with the plugin and extracts specific information and stores this into a JSON file. Autodesk Forge sends this file to the DAQS.io database where it is interpreted and visualized on the dashboard. After sending the JSON file, Autodesk Forge deletes all the data pertaining the entire transaction. Thank you for taking an interest into the security side of the service and please reach out to us for questions.